How to not be awkward during networking. I really wanted to talk about this one because it's okay. I just want to state it's perfectly fine to be awkward. It's supposed to be awkward. Networking is one of those things that's not comfortable for everybody. So if you're in person and you're networking, and networking, all it is asking questions, asking someone how they got to the job they got into, or asking them where they're from. Just approach someone. It's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel out of your comfort zone, and that's perfectly fine. So instead of asking yourself, how can I be less awkward? Just tell yourself, I'm going to do this, even if it's awkward. If you don't have results or growth stats to put on your resume, what should you put on to show metrics? The other way that you can actually show metrics on your resume is to put something that I like to call activity metrics. So if your company hasn't given you KPIs or key performance indicators that you can put success metrics to, instead use activity metrics. And what that means is you're defining how much of something or how often something is happening. So if you are directing a team, how many team members? You can actually put 4 to 5 team members, and that would be a metric, an activity metric. If you're working on a project, how long was that project? What was the deadline? Things like that. So the project was 6 months or it was a 2-year project and you hit all the deadlines. That's showing an activity and also showing that you were successful in doing it. How do I act when I get the offer and I actually want it? With a lot of exclamation points. I love this question because you kind of need to play it cool. If you get the offer and you really, really want it, you still should negotiate. So you don't want it to come off like you're going to take it right away. You want to play it cool. I'm going to look this over. I'm going to make sure it makes sense for me and my career and exactly what I want. Take it home, take a day, maybe 2 days to look it over. Ask them what they expect as far as turnaround for an answer. Usually they'll ask you for 48 hours or something like that. But take it home, take some time to look over it. And that's really cool that you're excited. But I definitely still want to encourage you to ask them if it's best and final or if there's room for negotiation. Because you can always ask and they might come back and say, no, this is our best and final. At this point, you could have to decide if you're going to take it or not. But now that we know that you're excited, so then you can definitely go ahead and take it. But take the time first and then come back with your answer. Can LinkedIn ATS read PDF format, or is Word better? I think she's specifically asking me about submitting your resume to the ATS. So whether that's a LinkedIn, Greenhouse, ADP, Bamboo, there's a lot of ATS systems that companies use. So when you actually submit the resume, what it's doing is it's parsing that resume. It's searching for keywords on your resume that match the actual job description, and that will show if you are a good candidate or not. So if you hear, oh, I'm not getting through ATS, or I need to tailor my resume to make sure ATS can pick it up, that's what we are talking about. So she's asking, should I use a PDF format or Word when sending it in? A PDF format never changes. So whatever the PDF is going to look like, that's what's going to look like on someone's phone, through the ATS, or any system. So my advice is always submit a PDF. The only reason you would send an editable version like a Word doc is if you're working directly with a hiring person or you're working with a recruiter and they want to maybe do some edits on their side to help you look better for the job. So then you would send in something that is editable. How do I stand out when I'm applying to a job? So when a job opening comes up, obviously there's going to be a ton of people that are sending their resumes in. So you have to do those normal things. Here are some extra things you can do to help yourself stand out. So you can pull things from your resume that directly relate to the job and put them at the top of your resume. This is something I like to call the key highlight section. So you're highlighting specific projects or specific tools or skills that you've used that you know the job's looking for, and you're putting those directly at the top. So when someone opens your resume, they automatically see exactly what they need to see. So that's number one. Number two is after you apply, you want to directly go to LinkedIn, find the hiring manager or someone in talent acquisition, because it's not always easy to find the hiring manager. And you want to send a LinkedIn message, something that says, hey, I just applied to this role, really excited to learn more about it. Don't expect them to respond. What you're trying to do is make them know your name. When I was a hiring manager and people would send me those messages, I would go to my ATS system, so the system where people are sending in their resumes, and I would find that person's name because it made my job easier. I would search their name and then see if their resume was good. And if it was, then I could call them. So reaching out to people just because they don't respond doesn't mean they didn't see it, and it doesn't mean it's not working. So I would definitely do that. And then I would also recommend trying to find an email address. So if you go to Google, if you go to the website in general, you can usually find someone's email on their website and you can see how it's set up. So if it's first dot last name, or if it's first initial last name, whatever the cadence is there, you can email someone in a hiring position that you found on LinkedIn so you know their name. Email them and state that you applied to the position, maybe write down 2 or 3 reasons why you're a good fit. It just adds something a little bit extra. And again, you're getting your name out there. So it's worth trying. It's definitely good to do these follow-ups because there are a ton of people applying to jobs right now. And scene.